wanted to bring you back for a quick update. I can't do everything on camera, guys. It's just too difficult to do, especially stuff underneath the car. But I want to show you that strut rods are on both sides. Sway bar is on. It's not painted. The other strut rod isn't either because it's raining outside. I don't feel like making a big mess in here with paint trying to cover everything up. So you'll just have to wait for another day, or I'll get a can of outdoor black tractor paint or something and a brush if I need to. I got all the caliper brackets are now on, torqued. I did put this factory manual steering stuff on. It's loosely bolted up. There's no carter key in there, so don't hit me up on that. I know it's not. This is just to make it to where it'll roll around if I need to. I don't have tires, don't have wheels that'll work, but I did order a set of front wheels. The one that I had, I told you on the last video or part of this one or whatever it comes in at, that I'm not showing you yet. That fit and missed the brakes, and I could have ran it, but it was a little too wide. It was a 14.7, so I ordered two 14.6s with 3 3/4 backspace. This was a 14.7 4-inch backspace. I'm going to try it on the back when I get the axle done and see how it fits in the back before I order back ones. Again, it's just to, just to make sure. But I'm going to grease the greasable stuff. I've got the cover bought for this side. I bought a new rubber snub for the other side. This one's going to be shiny and black. The other side's not. I'm talking about that cover that goes over top of the spring. I did buy the rubber snubber for it though. This is what the one looks like that was on this side. I'm sure I remember showing you. It's rusted out right there. So I bought a new one. The problem is it's a lot heavier tin. There's a lot of undercoating on both sides. That's why I'm not going to clean the other side up and paint it. It's just not worth it. So because that stuff's on there, it's on there thick. And I'm not going to mess with it. I mean, I could burn it off there with brushes and stuff, but like I said, it's raining outside. I just don't like that kind of a mess. You can actually, if you don't get a hot, you could actually take a torch a little bit and like heat that stuff up, and it'll scrape off with a scraper probably too. I'm guessing at that. I don't know what this is made of, but it's toxic fumes, so I really wouldn't recommend doing that. So sandblaster would be better, or wire wheel with a grinder with a good mask on or something, of technic. Well, by rights, you really need like a respirator of the type, because I don't know what that's tar based, guys. So you know what I'm saying. Anyway, not to get public servicey all on you, but just keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do is I need pressure on this after I get everything done up. I mean, as far as putting all the stuff together, get everything greased. I'm going to grease the bearings, probably off camera. I mean, there's a lot of people out there showing you how to grease a bearing. I'm going to do all 4 of them at the same time. Then I'm going to put the rotors on, get them all buttoned up, tightened up, but I'm not going to put the brakes on it. I'm going to bring those 14-inch stock steel Mustang wheels for drum brakes. And I'm just going to 3 or 4 bolt this on both sides. Then I'm going to put my ramps underneath it with a board on them, just so it doesn't eat through the plastic. Because I don't want to tear them clear up yet. And then I'm going to set the front end down on that, just to get, like I said, weight on the springs and everything. Because what my concern is look what it's doing. All that weight, that brand new spring, is pulling down on the shock, and you see what it's doing to the rubber mount. And I don't want to prematurely start wearing stuff out before I even get a mile on it. So it's not hurting it yet, but it's not good on it either. You know what I mean? It get memory. Rubber's kind of stupid. So so anyway, that's what I want to do, is to get the weight on the car, or on the front end and off of that shock mount, rubber mount anyway. So, okay, I'm going to do that off camera. Like I said, I've cleaned this up. I took some emery paper, cleaned everything up. It's a good idea to, what I do, like I said, I'm not really show you how to grease the, I do the, I put a rubber glove on, put the grease in palm of my hand, and use the other one to just beat it through there. There's lots of ways to do it. And then I put grease inside the hub, the drum, or the rotor, excuse me. I don't put blobs and blobs of it, but I do put some in there to completely coat everything inside. Then I completely coat this entire spindle before I slide everything on. The reason I do that is just for rusting purposes, because moisture is still going to possibly get in there. It shouldn't, but it can, because it's not a complete seal. Those little plastic, or those metal caps go on the end, they're not 100% sealed, and then you get a seal on the back side. So what I do is just kind of coat that all with grease, just to make sure it doesn't rust in the future. and start causing more issues. It's not going to rust through. It just makes it hard to get the bearings off, and then, you know what I mean, everything just kind of gets ugly. So if you can keep everything coated with something, you're not going to have near the problem. So, all right, I'll bring you back. Hey, I know it's not 100% their fault, but JC Pony has kind of, I'm not just absolutely throwing them under the bus. I'm kind of disappointed in the last couple things I bought from them. And I was going to order a bunch more stuff from them. Now I'm kind of second guessing that. One thing is this, I'm what you call it, a spring cover. I think they call it an upper or outer upper shock or strut or spring cover. I don't know what it is. I've showed you guys this before. This is it. This is the part that came off this side. It is rusted out here pretty good all the way around. Obviously it gets crap behind it because of the way it's built. It's got a pocket, you know, right in here. Sorry, I can't get my finger in there. And it holds garbage and it rusts out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I ordered one, and twice now I have ordered, looked at the picture, knew this is what I wanted, got here, it's not what it was. The picture showed the one I bought had this snubber on it. So I ordered one more snubber to put on the other side, so that way you had two new on both sides. Even though these weren't completely crap, I still ordered it. It comes in, has no snubber, so I had to use the one I ordered for the other side for this side. No big deal. I'll get to the brakes, the master cylinder stuff I bought later, but right now I'm more aggravated with this. I have it up here. There's still a JC Pony sticker on it. And it doesn't matter, it won't come off with it. It's covering one of the holes a little bit. But I've got this thing, 2 bolts on top, 1 bolt here. You can't see the 2 on top, they're way up there. And this thing isn't even close to matching the other holes. And I mean, pushed all the way up there. It's a whole hole off here just about. And half a hole, and I can't even, that one is just way off the other side. You may or may not be able to see it. This one's half a hole off the other side. So let me take it off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because something just fell on me. My light just fell out, fell on my foot. I'm sure you see nothing now. The aggravating part about this is that I expected this to work, and did I expect the steel to be the same thickness? No. This thing is like 1/3 of the weight of the original. Now, mind you, the original one does have some undercoating on it, so it is going to be a bit heavier, but not heavy enough to, well, here, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so the original one, sorry about the vomit cam, I'm going to do this. The original one was cast or stamped or whatever, and it does have a couple of little wrinkles, you know, wrinkles or whatever you want to call it. Not bad though. A little bit up here on top, but this thing has probably been off here before. I'm not sure, but so it's got a couple of wrinkles in it. But here's the new one. It's got the same big old dimple there, which I may be able to beat this into submission a little bit, get up a little higher, and get these bolts to come close. But you can see this thing is just, I don't know what they were doing. It's not flat all the way across there at all. But the worst thing is, look at the bottom of this. Now, it's worse without that snubber on it. They just folded and smashed and wrinkled and beat and then left it that way. I had trouble getting that nut started because everything's such, it bent in such funny angles. The rubber snubber doesn't go where it belongs. This is the part number, called outer shock tower, whatever, made in Taiwan. Anyway, that's the part number. I wouldn't recommend buying these. If you're going to buy it, I think this thing was 30-40 bucks. If you're going to buy it, I think what I'm just going to do is I'm actually going to cut this out where it's bad, and I think I'll cut this piece out right here, and I'll set that on there and weld it up, because I don't want to use that for obvious reasons. And this thing to me, I may try to beat on it a bit. You know what? Let's try something here right quick. That's probably the wrong side, ain't it? Yeah, that's not going to work. I was going to say, let me put these together. Let me put them over top of each other, see how bad the holes will actually line up. Oh, here's another good one. Yeah, this thing is on the ground. There is no movement. I mean, it's not, there's a little bit here, but I think that's because of that, but I mean a little bit. That's how far off it's bent. I'm not going to send it back because it's just not worth the hassle. Besides that, I need to repair the one I got. And so I think I'll just, like I said, hack this one up and try to repair that one. If it looks like that's going to be a colossal pain, I may go. There's a guy north of me here, a little while, I don't know, about 8 miles or so, who's basically got a boatload of Mustang parts, and I think that's where this Mustang came from. I've talked about it in the past, and that's probably where I should have went and got some of the motor mount parts that I needed instead of buying them new, because I got them from JC Pony. I have no idea if they're going to fit, so that's kind of a scary scenario because those things were expensive. In my book, they were expensive. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it back to show you that just because it's new doesn't mean it's going to fit. Now I could easily take my die grinder, since I got it off. I could actually put it partially back up, bolt the top bolts so it's all the way up as far as it'll go, and then suck in the one that's down here at the bottom to try to make it as tight as I can. I could take like a black primer or something like that and spray it in the inside of the engine compartment, mark these from the opposite side, and I can take my die grinder and elongate the holes and make it work. I'm not drilling in the car, and I'm not cutting the holes in the car. If I'm going to modify any part, it's going to be this part. So let me do some beating first. Let me see if I can get my hammer dolly set out and see if I can kind of straighten that up. That may be part of my problem, is that thing is so warped it won't allow it to go up far enough. Of course, I didn't try to tighten it with a the wrench or nothing, but I know you're not focused on it too good, but you can tell what I'm talking about. It's not like I've dropped this or the box was destroyed. This is how it came to me. So, I mean, that was unnecessary. Nothing is, I mean, you could see, nothing is straight on it. It is just bent to crap. All right, enough whining. Let's get on this thing. I don't know how far it'll go down, but I try to find some 2x4. It's raining. It's 800 mile an hour wind outside. Everything out there is soaked. So I was going to put some 2x4s on those ramps so it wouldn't, those 14-inch wheels wouldn't dig into them. These are the stock 14-inch 5-lug V8 drum brake only wheels. I do not have the brakes on the car. The calipers are set aside. You might have seen on the last piece of that video with those covers, those spring covers, upper shock, whatever they were. Anyway, they're on. I just went ahead and modified the one with my my die grinder and a carbide bit or whatever. But I will have to reach up and do some painting because, like I said, there was some metal on her. I'm not going to show you that right now because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the front end. I just want to set this thing on the ground, or at least on these, see how much it'll compress. It's going to take a while, even just sitting, but it's going to take some driving before it'll, So here we go. Wow, none, 0. Let me let off of it all the way. Alright, jacks out. Oh my goodness. Everything is tight. Whew. Hope that V8 weighs more than I think it does. Yeah, there's almost no suspension give, but that's to be expected. These things have been, the brand new springs and everything like that. But I'm gonna walk in front of you. But once it sits for a little bit, it'll actually start settling on its own. Just with the weight on it. I'm just curious. I don't like what it's doing to my... Oh my goodness. I don't like what it's doing to my ramp. Now mind you, this is not ride height at all. I'm just measuring it because I think it was in what, 24, 25 inch before. And like I said, I know the tire's not on, it's not the right wheel, nothing about it, but it's nothing settled. I'm at 30 and a half inches. And this side's actually 31. So again, settling purposes, it'll take a bit. Plus that ramp on this side is actually starting, looks like crap already. Anyway, I just want to bring it back here, putting weight on it. I expected it to settle some, but ooh, it didn't do nothing. It's going to be a stiff rider for a while. But again, I don't know what the difference in weight is from the 6-cylinder to the V8. I assumed they were about the same because the 6-cylinder is a really heavy engine, that inline 6. Got a lot of metal there and a lot of cast iron, I guess I should say, in the block and the head. You ever pulled a head on one of them, crankshaft on a 6-cylinder, it's about all you want. So anyway, I just want to bring you back here real quick, show you this. Like I said, I'm at a stopping point on this car right now because I'm still not going to sure what I'm doing with the actual well, all the steering stuff. I'm still kind of contemplating on what to do. Right now it's just hooked up to the manual stuff, which is not right. It is absolutely wrong. Now, let me show you why I mean that. Right now, this wheel, it may be turned just a tad to the left. Let me turn to the right. I really don't want to do it on that plastic, but I know you can't really tell, but it's basically running straight ahead. But you look at this side over here, and it is turning left, or right, excuse me. You can really tell right there, it's really turning right. So I think that was the reason I was having so much trouble trying to figure out why nothing was doing what it's supposed to. But anyway, so this is where we're at, and I'll bring you back when we get a little further along. I think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start on the engine because that's what I have the most parts for. I'm going to do a quick garage clean, put all the brakes up because we're not going to be using them right away. I've already started separating stuff. I've got a bunch of trash there I need to get rid of. Trash guy's here tomorrow, and I started cleaning my tabletop off, and then I'm going to probably set that rear end up there, see if I can figure out if I can mess with it up there on that table or whether I'm going to have to do something different. I may set it up there maybe with some jack stands under, something maybe too tall to work on. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But anyway, that's where we're at. Next video, we'll probably be starting on that engine. Otherwise, if not, a buddy of mine's going to come over and help me take this hood off. Well, I got a blanket put on the roof. I probably said this. I'm going to start pulling this engine transmission out. No sense in having it in here. I'm going to need room for setting this in and out, checking clearances on stuff and everything. So that's, all right, guys, we'll bring you back.